Welcome to the darkest corners of history, where the truth is often stranger and more horrifying than fiction. Today we're diving into 10 dark and twisted historical facts that will send shivers down your spine. Some of these tales are macabre, others tragic, but all of them prove one thing: history is a nightmare we can't wake up from. Let's begin. The man who ate himself to death, Tara's unholy hunger. Imagine being cursed with an insatiable hunger so intense that you resort to eating live animals, rotting flesh, and even human corpses. This was the reality of Tara, an 18th-century Frenchman whose monstrous appetite led him to consume nearly his own body weight in food every day. Doctors examined him, soldiers used him for espionage, and eventually his grotesque cravings led to him allegedly eating a baby. When he died, his autopsy revealed a stomach so massive that it stretched down into his pelvis. His existence was a horrifying medical mystery and an unspeakable tragedy. The Dancing Plague of 1518, when death had rhythm. In the summer of 1518, hundreds of people in Strasbourg were struck by a bizarre and fatal compulsion. They danced uncontrollably for days on end. It started with one woman, but soon dozens joined in, their bodies convulsing to an invisible tune. Some danced until their feet bled, some dropped dead from exhaustion or heart failure. No one knows exactly what caused it: mass hysteria, a fungal toxin, or something far darker. The mystery of the Dancing Plague remains unsolved, but one thing is certain: the music never stopped. The Corpse Bride of Karl Tanzler, A Love Beyond Death. Dr. Karl Tanzler was obsessed with a tuberculosis patient named Elena de Hoyos. When she succumbed to her illness in 1931, Tanzler wasn't ready to say goodbye. He stole her corpse, kept it in his home for years, and attempted to preserve her decaying body using wax, wire, and silk. He even replaced her eyes with glass and slept beside her every night. When authorities finally discovered his morbid secret, he was never charged, because disturbingly desecrating a corpse wasn't a crime in Florida at the time. The Winchester Mystery House, a mansion built by ghosts. Sarah Winchester, widow of the firearm magnate, believed she was haunted by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. To appease them, she constructed a massive labyrinthine mansion that was constantly under construction for 38 years. Staircases led to nowhere, doors opened into walls, and secret passages riddled the house. The eerie logic: if the house never stopped changing, the ghosts could never find her. To this day, visitors report ghostly whispers and chilling footsteps. Unit 731, Japan's Forgotten Atrocity. World War II was a dark period in human history, but one of the most horrifying chapters remains relatively unknown. Unit 731, a covert Japanese research facility, conducted grotesque experiments on prisoners: vivisections without anesthesia, frostbite tests, and biological warfare trials. Thousands were tortured and killed in the name of science. After the war, the lead scientists weren't punished. Instead, the US granted them immunity in exchange for their research. Justice was never served. The Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory's Reign of Terror. Elizabeth Bathory, a 16th-century Hungarian noblewoman, earned her reputation as one of history's most prolific female murderers. She allegedly tortured and killed over 600 young girls, bathing in their blood in a twisted attempt to maintain her youth. Witnesses described horrific scenes: girls being burned, mutilated, and left to die in her dungeons. When she was finally caught, she wasn't executed. Instead, she was walled up inside her castle, left to rot in the darkness she had created. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, the unsolved horror in the mountains. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers ventured into Russia's Ural Mountains. None of them returned alive. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside, their half-clothed bodies scattered across the snow. Some had suffered gruesome injuries: crushed skulls, broken ribs, and even missing tongues. There were no signs of struggle, no footprints leading to or from the site. The Soviet government ruled it an unknown compelling force. To this day, the true cause of their deaths remains an eerie enigma. The Chicago Tylenol murders, poison in plain sight. In 1982, an unknown killer laced Tylenol capsules with cyanide, leaving 7 unsuspecting people dead. Victims took what they thought was simple medicine, only to collapse within minutes. Panic spread, tamper-proof packaging was invented, but the culprit was never found. To this day, the case remains unsolved. It was a chilling reminder that death could come from something as ordinary as a painkiller. The Phantom of Plague Island, Paveglia's dark secret. Off the coast of Italy lies Paveglia, an island drenched in death. Used as a quarantine station during the Black Death and later as an insane asylum, the island became a dumping ground for the sick and deranged. Patients claimed to see shadowy figures, and the asylum's doctor, rumored to be a madman, performed cruel experiments before mysteriously plunging to his death. Today, Paveglia remains abandoned, its air thick with the whispers of the past. The Lead Coffin Girl, a child preserved in time. In 2016, construction workers in San Francisco unearthed a child's coffin, buried for over a century. But when they opened it, the girl inside looked eerily intact, as if she had only recently passed. Clutching a single rose, she lay preserved by an airtight lead coffin, her blonde hair still shining. No one knew who she was, until DNA testing revealed her to be Edith Howard Cook, a girl who died in 1876. Even in death, she refused to be forgotten. History is filled with chilling stories that defy explanation. Some are reminders of humanity's darkest instincts, others are simply beyond comprehension. But one thing is certain, the past never stays buried for long. If you enjoyed this descent into darkness, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eerie tales from history. Until next time, stay curious and stay wary.